Welcome back to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe and all those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. So we are taking a look at Marvel Legends Retro Collection Spider-Man Webman. Without further ado, let's jump straight into having a look at the figure. Straight out of the box, there's no real complaints just yet. He comes with 2 additional web crawling hands, which are a must with all Spider-Man figures, but we don't always get them, and 2 web spinning hands, as well as the 2 closed fist hands that he has on his body. He is built on that new buck that we saw with the first retro carded Spider-Man, that's got a lot more articulation and obviously is a little bit more musclier than the old pizza Spider-Man. Now, just going back to the box very quickly, people sometimes ask how I get the figures out of these retro boxes without damaging them. Very simply, just run a scalpel or a sharp knife down the side of the box here and you'll be able to peel it open with a little bit of patience and if you're very careful, and then what you can do is you just cut the card behind and then you can slip the plastic out. So it's just that you can see, there you go, I've just cut in there to pull the plastic out, and then obviously you can put that back in if you want to, and if you are a collector of the boxes or you want to keep hold of the boxes, because the retro boxes are really nice, so it is a shame to just kind of bin them off straight away. So you can put that back in and obviously store them or hang them or do whatever it is that you're doing with them. So yeah, just a sharp knife down the side of the box. But anyway, back to the actual figure itself. So, Webman. So as I said at the beginning, he has all the same articulation as the retro Spidey. So you've got these kind of shoulder swivels here as well. Obviously you've got your elbows, your wrists, your knees, etc. And oh, there's a really big, that's a shame, there's a big sort of peg hole on the back there, but because it's bang in the middle of the blue spider, it really stands out. That really jars, and you can actually see the blue of the pegs here as well on the arms, which is a shame. I've got a little bit of paint missing there on that blue, so you can see a bit of red, but it's okay on the right side. The pegs in the legs are obviously red, so they don't stand out. So apart from those peg holes in and the big hole in the back, that's a real shame. Let's just pull the retro Spidey in just so you can have a look. Now they do look a little bit different. If I'm completely honest, it's down to the head. They seem to have used the new head on the retro one, but then an older head perhaps on the Webman. So he looks a lot bigger. His head's actually a lot bigger. Now you wouldn't notice it just looking at him on his own, but when you do stand him shoulder to shoulder with the retro one, he's got a big old head. I mean, it fits, it's in proportion, but it's just a bit bigger than the one on the retro Spidey. Now, I love the bright blues and reds, however, standing him next to the retro Spidey, they're very different. So the blues are very different and the reds are very different. Now, if you're familiar with the character, he was created in the late 70s and essentially was created by Dr. Doom. Now, in a nutshell, what happened is Spider-Man came in, looked through what he thought was a mirror, but it wasn't. It was a one-way mirror, and Dr. Doom was behind it and basically created a twin, like a mirror version of Spider-Man. So the blues and the reds should match up, as well as the head size, really, because it should be an exact repaint. I can't believe I'm actually complaining about a figure not being an exact repaint, but it should be. It should just be a mirror version of the retro Spidey. Same head, same colour scheme. Now what's interesting about the actual character, just while I have a little bit of a play around with the articulation, is that because he is a mirror version of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man's obviously very clever, Webman was actually quite stupid. So he didn't, have a huge run in the comics, but as a suit, it's quite nice to look at. It is really nice to see this kind of reversed colouring. As I said, I really like the blues and the reds used on Webman. It's just a shame that they don't match that of the retro Spidey. So he hasn't got a huge history in the comics. He's not kind of one of these characters that have kind of, resurfaced and been sewn throughout lots of storylines, but he is quite an iconic look because obviously being the reverse of what we're familiar with. And I'm a sucker for Spider-Man. Anything with a Spider-Man logo on it, I want to grab one and put it into my collection because I do love my Spider-Man suits. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun posing these guys together, maybe just doing the kind of, mirror opposite of each other. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty pleased. I'm really pleased that they've given us more figures on this buck. I know that with the second wave of retro Spider-Man, they've obviously given us a couple of others on this buck, including the symbiote Spider-Man, which I am very excited to see. Slowly but surely they are kind of filling out our collections with a better mould for Spider-Man. So yeah, he's quite easy to pose. I was expecting as much because the retro one is absolutely fantastic to pose, so I was expecting that I was going to be able to get Webman into similar positions. So yeah, so I'm going to have a proper play and kind of find a pose for my shelf, and then do some photos of him as well. But yeah, all in all, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, definitely worth picking up, just for the sake of having the this type of costume. If you're not a fan of Spider-Man, then I guess it would be a waste of money. But yeah, all in all, I'm really pleased with it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. All the support is very much appreciated, and I'll catch you soon.
Oh, yeah.